For too long, Bitcoin has been a promising but dormant asset. It's promised us financial sovereignty. It's got potential, but right now you can't truly live off of it. You can't earn yield. You have to go through intermediaries to trade, exchange, or use it in any way. And there are not that many ways that you can use it. Really, the only thing that you can do trustlessly with Bitcoin is hodl. And so it's not a tool which is really giving you, right now, financial sovereignty. But right now, the ground is shifting beneath our feet, and all of that is about to change. Here's the deal. We all are living in a legacy financial system that is trapping people. It's trapping us. It's not working for us. And people are frustrated. Rightly, they have a feeling of being stuck. And that feeling of being stuck is driving people to desperate and sometimes absurd measures. What I see is people coming home from their soul-crushing day jobs, glued to their screens, hunting for the next 100x Bibu coin or whatever the meme is that week. It's gambling, pure and simple. And a whole generation is doing it. And this is born out of desperation. The desperation of people trapped in a financial system that's not working for them. But here's the thing. You can free yourself from the system. You don't have to be a slave to your 9-to-5 job or gamble on meme coins. There's a better way. And I'm proof of it. I've managed to break free from the traditional financial system. I live off-grid. I live off the financial radar. I don't have a particular country. I barely have a bank account. The strategy that I took, I knew was safe from the start, even though other people saw it as high risk. I took a long-term, high-patience, high-conviction bet on high-growth positions. Bitcoin was exactly that kind of bet. I was lucky enough to see its potential early on and commit for the long haul. We're talking over a decade here of only hodling. Now, this isn't an approach of day trading or jumping on every new coin or meme. It's about identifying truly revolutionary technologies or assets, understanding their long-term potential, and having, and this is the most important part, the conviction to hold through ups and downs. So that's what I did with Bitcoin. And now, after years of this high growth strategy, I've reached a point where I can reduce the focus on risk and growth and focus instead on wealth preservation and living off the yield. That's the end game. Using the wealth you've accumulated to generate a consistent income that supports your lifestyle without having to touch the principal. But here's the kicker. While Bitcoin got me here with its incredible price appreciation, it's not yet able to fulfill this final stage effectively. Generate yield? Not really, at least not without taking on significant counterparty risk and giving your money and tokens to other people. Sam Bankman-Fried. That's why enhancing Bitcoin's functionality is so crucial now. We need to be able to use Bitcoin not just as a speculative asset or as a store of value, but as a foundation for generating sustainable yield. And there's an entire generation of hodlers who've had an approach similar to mine, who are on the market now for exactly that kind of product. Imagine being able to earn a reliable 5% on your Bitcoin holdings, paid out in Bitcoin, without having to trust a centralized entity. Let me show you the power of compounding with Bitcoin. Imagine two Bitcoin enthusiasts, Alice and Bob, who are starting this journey today. They don't have 10 years. And so each of them acquires 1/2 of a Bitcoin. They each acquire $30,000 of Bitcoin. So Alice simply holds her Bitcoin, but Bob, he puts his Bitcoin to work in a system that allows him to earn a conservative 5% annual yield paid out in Bitcoin, compounded annually. So both start out with $30,000 or half a Bitcoin. We can assume different levels of appreciation, but let's assume that Bitcoin only appreciates in value at half the rate it's been doing up until now. Well, after 10 years, Alice will have $250,000. And after 15 years, she'll have $800,000 plus, $860,000. And after 30 years, she'll have nearly $6 million. That's a way for Alice to retire. And that was basically the strategy that I was following. But there's a strategy which is becoming available now with trustless Bitcoin yield. And that is the ability to start earning, let's say, 5% Bitcoin yield. So let's look at Bob, who's doing that. He starts out with half a Bitcoin. And you might say, well, by trying to earn yield, he's taking on a certain amount of risk. And that is true. But what is he getting in return? Only 5%. What's 5%? How can that be worth any risk? Well, here's why it's worth risk. Because compounding is magic. You see, after 10 years, Bob has 0.82 Bitcoin. And so Bob, after 15 years, has doubled what Anis has and has more than 4 times what Anis has after 30 years. That's the magic of compounding. And so in 30 years, Bob has over $25 million. But what's really interesting is what happens after 15 years. You see, Anis has 800,000 plus, which is a really nice nest egg, but you can't live off that. But Bob has almost $2 million. And that is something that you can already start to live off the yield alone passively. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. Bitcoin isn't just another cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is poised to become the internet of money. And in some of my previous videos, we've delved into why this is happening now. It didn't happen before, but it's happening now. With enhanced functionality, Bitcoin becomes more than just a store of value. It becomes a source of income. Now let's go back to imagining that 5% yield on your Bitcoin holdings. And you're starting out with $30,000 in Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin. That means that you could be earning the equivalent of a $50,000 a year passive income in 13 years if we assume 25% growth in Bitcoin year over year. But if you just wait 2 more years or 3 more years, you're able to start pulling out every single year. Your salary is now $100,000 and you're sitting on over 2 Bitcoin, which you're never going to leave. It's those 2 Bitcoin which are paying that yield to you. So we've been talking about you. We've been talking about individual wealth. But Bitcoin isn't just about individual wealth. It's about reshaping society. And as more people discovered the ability to make smart moves through Bitcoin, achieve financial security, we're going to start seeing some profound changes. People are going to start having children and families again, knowing they can provide for them. Political extremism will decline as financial desperation decreases. And we might even become a friendlier, more generous society. It sounds utopian, but financial security has a powerful effect on humans' behavior and their understanding of their place in the world. As Bitcoin upgrades itself to offering true financial sovereignty, that's going to come with Bitcoin native financial services. You're going to be able to take out a loan, invest in stocks, buy real estate, all without touching the traditional banking system, and potentially all without touching the principal Bitcoin that you hold. This isn't about being anti-government or anything. It's about having the options for you to have direct control over your financial life. Bitcoin's long-term stability and trust are unmatched in the TradFi world and in the crypto world. And so as governments, institutions, large companies, wealthy individuals, and people who have become wealthy because of the strategy we just discussed, start thinking about how they want to focus on wealth preservation, wealth growth, it's going to be Bitcoin's long-term viability that is going to become the key differentiator, the key thing that allows us to finally unleash crypto. Because what's been missing up until now is that the functionality has been in low trust environments, and the high trust environment of Bitcoin has been without functionality. When Fidelity or BlackRock decide to truly invest in rolling out financial products built for a decentralized world, they're going to do it on Bitcoin. No other cryptocurrency can offer the same level of confidence, no other blockchain the same level of security. And at its core, as a result, Bitcoin has always been about wealth preservation, and not just speculation, but consistent growth. And in a world of inflation and economic uncertainty, this value that Bitcoin offers is only going to increase in obviousness to everyone. It's never been about getting rich quick. That practically always fails. It's about building lasting generational wealth. Think of this as digital real estate that you're going to be able to pass down to your children and grandchildren. Bitcoin with enhanced functionality, and only with enhanced functionality that allows you to earn yield, is going to open up a world of investment opportunity. You're going to be able to invest in real-world assets like stocks and bonds and even startups through decentralized Bitcoin-native platforms. You're going to be able to diversify your portfolio without ever selling your Bitcoin. And someone like me, who believes that AI is the future and wants to participate and invest in something like NVIDIA, but without giving up their Bitcoin, is going to have opportunities to do this at their fingertips, to sell their Bitcoin and invest in something like NVIDIA without ever going through a centralized broker, or even to use the principal to borrow against their Bitcoin in order to invest in NVIDIA. This is a world that is going to become a reality because the technology is becoming available now. And I'm not the only person who wants it. There's a whole generation of people like me who maybe already have several years behind them of adopting this strategy and have already built significant wealth, or are in the middle of that journey, or maybe are just starting out now, and 5, 10, and 15 years from now, are going to be in a position to truly be financially sovereign and to use exactly these kinds of tools. And all of us, no matter where we are in that journey, are going to be able to see our ability to take advantage of it, accelerate it, and our ability to benefit from it and to grow wealthy accelerate. Because the products for Bitcoin yield and the technology which enables it are becoming a reality now. We're on the verge of a transformation. Bitcoin is evolving from a dormant asset into the internet of money. And it's not just about hodling anymore. It's about participating in the next evolution, the next step of Bitcoin, the next step of the global financial system. And to this new phase of Bitcoin, we are all equally early. The potential is enormous, and the implications are world-changing. Am I ready for Bitcoin to unleash its full potential? If you'd like to delve deeper into answers to these questions and continue exploring these ideas with me, and stay updated on this evolving Bitcoin ecosystem, you can find links in the description to my Twitter, or you can subscribe. And I'm going to continue to put out these videos. I've enriched my life, and many people who have followed my path have seen themselves achieve levels of freedom they never thought possible. And we did it without staring at the red and green screens of meme coins or highly speculative assets late into the desperate hours of the night. There's a calmer, more persistent, more confident, and more patient way for us to achieve our goals. And in fact, I would argue it's the only way. So let's stay sovereign together.